What is the poem by Tennyson about a young noblewoman imprisoned in a tower on an island near Camelot? The Lady of Shalott. When Alfred Tennyson was died? October 6, 1892. Who is called the father of modern detective stories? Edgar Allan Poe. What type of orc is The Black Cat by Edgar Allan Poe? Short story. What is the first of the two poems to carry the name of Helen written by Edgar Allan Poe? Answer is To Helen. What is a horror story by Edgar Allan Poe involving the disturbing circumstances surrounding a portrait in a chateau? The Oval Portrait. What is the last work by Edgar Allan Poe? The Lighthouse. Who is known as the Grand Old Man of Britain? Gladstone. What is the famous quote by Gladstone about justice? Justice delayed is justice denied. Who wrote the novel Vanity Fair? William Makepeace Thackeray. What type of literature is Men's Wives by William Makepeace Thackeray? Novel. Who wrote the books Catherine and the Newcomes? William Makepeace Thackeray. Who is the father of dramatic monologue? Robert Browning. What is the keynote of Browning's philosophy of life? Optimism. Where the following line occur in? That's my last Duchess painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. My Last Duchess by Robert Browning. What is the most famous collection of 51 poems in 2 volumes by Robert Browning? Men and Women. Which poem by Robert Browning was subtitled shortly after the revival of learning in Europe? The Grammarian's Funeral. What is the poem by Robert Browning about Abraham ibn Ezra? Rabbi Ben Ezra. Browning's famous poem Rabbi Ben Ezra is included in which poetry collection? Dramatis Personae. What is the poem by Robert Browning about an Italian painter? Andrea del Sarto. What is the 1855 dramatic monologue written by Robert Browning about the 15th century real-life painter? Fra Lippo Lippi. What type of poem is The Patriot by Robert Browning? Dramatic monologue. Who was Elizabeth Barrett Browning? A poet and wife of Robert Browning. Who wrote the famous novel Great Expectations? Charles Dickens. Who is the main character in the novel Great Expectations? Pip. Who is commonly known as Pip in Great Expectations? Philip Pirrip. What is the first work by Charles Dickens? Sketches by Boz. What is the first novel by Charles Dickens? The Pickwick Papers. Which book by Charles Dickens is also known as The Paris Boy's Progress? Oliver Twist. A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens involves which two cities? London and Paris. Which novel by Charles Dickens tells the story of Nell Trent, a beautiful and virtuous young girl? The Old Curiosity Shop. What is the only autobiographical novel by Charles Dickens? David Copperfield. What is the ghost story of Christmas by Charles Dickens? A Christmas Carol. Which book by Dickens surveys English society and satirizes the socio-economic conditions of the era? Hard Times. Dickens was inspired by several court cases in writing which novel? Answer is Bleak House. Who wrote the famous novel Jane Eyre? Charlotte Brontë. Charlotte Brontë wrote Jane Eyre under which pen name? Currer Bell. What is the first novel by Charlotte Brontë? The Professor. What is the posthumous biography by Charlotte Brontë by fellow novelist Elizabeth Gaskell? The Life of Charlotte Brontë. Who wrote the novels Shirley and Violet? Charlotte Brontë. Who wrote the novel Wuthering Heights? Answer is Emily Brontë. Emily Brontë wrote Wuthering Heights under which pen name? Ellis Bell. Who is the youngest of Brontë sisters? Anne Brontë. Who is the father of Brontë sisters? Patrick Brontë. Who is the mother of Brontë sisters? Maria Branwell. Who is the only brother of Brontë sisters? Patrick Branwell Brontë. How many children were there in the Brontë family? Answer is 6. Who wrote the book Das Kapital? Karl Marx. When was Karl Heinrich Marx born? 5 May 1818. Where was Karl Marx born? Trier, Germany. Who is considered to be the father of socialism? This is the homework. Try to answer the question and watch our next video. Thank you.